Hey everyone, this is JD with the Vicky Pop Culture channel. It is convention season, and I want to provide you my top 10 tips on surviving a comic book convention.
Starting transmission.
Usually about starting around March, convention season begins, and you have pretty much different types of comic book conventions, video game conventions, toy conventions, you name it, are going on. Starting around March and actually progressing all the way until, about November, December, most likely. You have the big conventions coming up with San Diego Comic-Con in July, New York Comic-Con in October, but there's also some smaller ones too. You have C2E2 in the spring, you have WonderCon, you have, what else? You have Emerald City Comic-Con. Yeah, so you have a bunch of conventions coming up, and you know what? Sometimes you don't know where to start. Tip number one, dress comfortably, wear comfortable shoes, wear comfortable clothes. If you're cosplaying, make sure you're wearing a comfortable cosplay outfit. Here in Arizona, it's going to be like 116 during the convention. And, wearing a jacket like this with the proton pack and everything, it might not be as comfortable as you would think. But you know what? If you're cosplaying, do what you can and stay well hydrated too in that case, if you're going to be cosplaying a suit like this in 116-degree weather. Tip number two, prepare items to bring. And what do you mean by this? I mean, if you're going to get stuff autographed by celebrities, you're going to want to prepare for that. If you're bringing a Funko Pop to get signed, maybe not bring it in the box. A box like this can be easily damaged in transportation. You might not want to get this pop damaged because you're going to get an autograph and everything. So why not just bring the box? So you take the figure out, you can actually just bring the box, fold it down, and then put it in a vanilla envelope, and then bada bing, bada boom. You get that signed at the convention. And you don't risk the Funko Pop actually getting damaged or destroyed. And if you're going to get comic books autographed, you're going to also want to bring them in bag and board too. You don't want these to be loose and, get damaged on the travel, This is going to be in your backpack for a couple of days. Do you want to have this comic book signed by the artist or the writer and have it completely destroyed? No. So make sure that you actually bring the proper protection for your comic books. So that's tip number two. Make sure that you prepare your items ahead of time. Make sure they're well packaged and ready to go. So when you go to that convention center, you just take them out and you'll be able to get them signed and put away and not have to worry about them being damaged. Tip number three, review the policy. This is very important. You need to know going into this convention, what are the do's and don'ts of this convention center? What kind of props can you bring in? What kind of cosplay can you do? Can you bring in a lightsaber? Can you bring in a foam sword? Can you bring any kind of gun-looking weapons? Probably not. Be prepared to know what you can bring into the convention. Also, that's just not for cosplay too. You also need to know whether or not you can bring food into the convention. For example, the Phoenix Convention Center doesn't allow you to bring any outside food or drinks into the convention center. You have to buy the food or drinks that are in the convention center. I know, that's very crazy. This is probably one of the few policies I do not believe in with Phoenix Fan Fusion, but it's one you gotta live by. Just know what you can bring and not bring into a convention center, and be prepared that you may have to throw something out or put something back in your car. Just be prepared for that kind of situation. Now it's time for the convention. And you know what? Now it's your turn to actually find out what the heck are you going to be doing at this convention. And tip number four, review the program guide. You know what? You're at this convention for 2-3 days, and you're going to need to know what to do so you're not running across the convention center. You're not missing the panels you want to see. You know what? It's very important to have early access to look at what are the programs for the convention are. So, for example, here at Phoenix Fan Fusion, they do have an app. You can go in there and you can double check and see what kind of shows are playing, what kind of panels there are. You can click on all different panels. You can see what time the autographing sessions are, photo ops, stuff like that. So that's really cool to see. And if you are planning for a very busy convention schedule, it is very important that you plan ahead. So use either the program guide or the app, if an app is available. And you know what? You'll have way better experience. Because I said, you don't want to show up late for a panel and learn that you can never get in, or you don't want to wait 5 minutes for a panel starts, which is also leading me into my next tip. Tip number 5, be patient. there is going to be long lines, either to buy stuff, to get food, or for panels. You know, I would say the rule of thumb, if you're going to a very popular panel, you might want to get there 2 to 3 hours before the panel. I know 2 to 3 hours seems like a long time to standing in line, but trust me, these panels do fill up fast, and you may not get in. Like, for example, if you're at San Diego Comic-Con, if you're getting in line for Hall H, you want to get in line the night before pretty much to be able to get in Hall H. A smaller convention like Phoenix Fan Fusion, you could possibly get in line an hour before the panel and still be able to get in. You may not get the best seats, but you very likely will get in. Like this year at Phoenix Fan Fusion, we have like Hayden Christian coming in. We have Vince D'Onofrio, Katie Siegel, Ron Perlman. If all these famous actors are all going to be there, I'm going to bet that these panels are going to be packed. And it's going to be pretty wise to probably get in line an hour or more before that panel starts. So, like I said, be patient. Know they're going to be staying in line for long times. Now, if you're buying stuff, also be patient. But if you're either buying food at the concession stands or you're buying item from the vendors, internet is really bad in these convention centers, and they mostly want cash only. So just be on the lookout for that. And other people are there looking around, looking at stuff. Be courteous, be kind, for everyone around. And here's my next point. Tip number 6, autographs. Autographs are very much a key thing that we do at conventions. So let me pull up a few autographs that I have. So this is my cabinet of autographs. Like here, I have an autograph from the voice of Ariel, Jodie Benson. Got that one signed. Got Jim Cummings, who signed my Winnie the Pooh Funko Pop. Got Doug Bradley, who signed Billy Butcherson, Hocus Pocus. So, got quite a bit of autographs in there.
2 hours later.
So, there is quite a bit of autographs in there. And one thing to know is that how you get things autographed is going to also be very important. Because first up, you want to know whether or not the person takes cash or card, or do you have to pre-buy your autographs? I can't tell you how many times where you go get in line and you find out you have to purchase your signatures the day before or earlier in the convention. Otherwise, they're not going to sign anything you bring. That really sucks. I've been in lines before where I was short the cash to actually get something autographed. You wait in line for 3 hours to get something autographed, and you find out that they only accept cash and you're $10 short. What do? They're not going to sign anything for you even if you're $10 short. It really sucks. And I've had that happen many times. I had that happen to friends many times. So make sure that if you're getting stuff autographed, you're bringing cash for the autographs. You're following up on the website to see if you need to prepay for any of the autographs. Take this as advice that, I wouldn't want you to show up, get something autographed, or want to get something autographed and find out you're not able to. Which also leads me into how to get stuff autographed. The one thing you do not want to do is have your stuff signed with a Sharpie. Sharpies come up, and I'm going to see if I have anything I have signed with a Sharpie. I don't think I have anything signed with a Sharpie. Anyways, a lot of the autographs that you saw that I showed you a few minutes ago, those were all signed with the paint pens. So if you're getting stuff autographed, use the paint pens. Bring your own markers, bring your own paint pens to get signed, to have stuff autographed. Sharpies do kind of fade over time. I have a Ninja Turtle comic book that is signed by Kevin Eastman, and they signed it with a Sharpie on a glossy cover, and now that is starting to peel and flake. I live in Arizona, it's hot, stuff dries out, starts to flake, which really sucks, to be honest. But learn from me, make sure that you are bringing some kind of marker if you're going to get stuff autographed. Have it as a backup, Tip number 7, bring cash. This is very important. You want to make sure you have plenty of cash on you. And this can mean for anything. So a lot of the food vendors take only cash only. A lot of the actual vendors there may only take cash. And parking may only take cash. So make sure you have plenty of cash. I recommend if you're planning on buying things, you might have to bring a few $100s in cash. That's crazy to say, but you never know what you're going to want to buy. But cash is king in that sense here at conventions. Yes, most of the vendors do take credit cards and electronic payments, but don't rely on it. The internet in the convention centers, it really sucks. PayPal may not work, Zelle may not work. You name it, may not work at all. And what are you left with? Only cash. And if you don't have carrying cash on you, you may not be able to pick anything up. So, rule of thumb, always bring plenty of cash and know that, it's probably better to pay with cash too, because you may not be charged certain tax fees if they don't have to ring it up on an electronic device. So keep that in mind. Tip number 8, rest. You are going to be walking a convention hall probably for like 5 or 6 hours. You're going to be standing in line for 1 or 2 hours. You're going to be in panels. Take some time to yourself. It can get super overwhelming when you're inside of a convention center and, there's hundreds of people walking around you. It is busy. There's crowds. It's hot in there sometimes. You may have been outside in the heat for a few hours. Take some time to rest. Your feet might be killing you. Take time to rest. My recommendation that if you do need to rest, try to find a panel that sounds interesting to you at that time and go hang out on that panel for a little while. You never know. You might find something you might like. Or if you don't know what the panel is about, why not sit on in? And you know what? You might find something you didn't know you liked. So my recommendation is that if you need to rest, just find the next panel that's starting and go take a break. Because you never know. You might find a new interest or new hobby. Tip number 9, cosplay isn't consent. So keep this in mind. You know what? There's going to be tons of people cosplaying. And you're going to see people in random different type of outfits. You're going to want to get photos with them. Don't harass the cosplayers either. Remember, cosplay is not consent. Ask for them. Be polite. Pretty much every convention has a zero tolerance policy on harassment of cosplayers. So keep that in mind. And last but not least, tip number 10, have fun. Have fun. This is a convention season. This is a convention you've been waiting for all year long. Have a great time. Go see the panels you want to go see the celebrities you want to go see. Hey, if you make a mistake and you don't go see a celebrity or the panels are too full, go see the other celebrity you want to see. Most of these conventions have like maybe 100 different panels going on at the same time. You may miss the one you really want to go see, but always have a plan B because you never know what you're going to see. And you know what? And explore the exhibit hall. I'll show footage here from last year's Fan Fusion. You're going to want to walk down Artist Alley. You're going to want to walk down the exhibit hall, the cosplay area. You're going to want to check out all the celebrities that are there and say, hey, maybe you can get an autograph for that person that has a really small line. I don't know. But have a fun time. Yes, you may get stressed out. Yes, it may be crazy, but just know everybody else there is trying to have a fun time too. And why not you? And guys, that's pretty much it. That is my top 10 tips for the convention season. Let me know what your thoughts were. Do you have any other tips I may have missed? Put them down in the comment section down below. I'd like to hear guys what you guys think about conventions. And are you guys going to Phoenix Fan Fusion? I know I'll be there. Are you going to San Diego Comic-Con? I'll be there too. So until next time, guys, just remember to hit the like and subscribe and the notification bell. That way you're notified when new videos are dropping. And without further ado, this is JD with the Figgy Pop Collector Channel.
That concludes a Figgy Pop transmission.
Don't know which one I want to get this autographed. Jumping out Fred Funko. Signed by Mike Becker. I don't know. Got the Dustin signed hat from Stranger Things. It was actually a Loot Crate thing with that China Comic Con. I don't know why I showed that off. Get your comic books signed.